Mariwala, let me ask you, because the big driver for growth continues to be consumption, and that's what people are betting on as we move into the festive season now, sir. But what's your own sense of what you're hearing from the marketplace on the sustainability of the kind of consumption growth that we've seen, and what could perhaps act as dampeners going forward?
See, if you compare the last 2-3 years in India, we had two major discontinuities which are behind us.
Yeah, GST and
they were big discontinuities, undoubtedly, but I think now things have settled down on both these fronts. So things have stabilized in the last 6 months and things are looking up. Have we gone back to the older growth rates of 10% plus? No, but the sector, the FMCG sector is growing by about 6 to 8% volume growth rates, which is better. I mean, 2 years we grew by maybe 2-3%. So things are looking up. The monsoon is erratic, but I think overall pretty good, I would say. I think the high oil prices internationally could lead to inflation, and that could be a dampener. But net-net, I'm still cautiously optimistic.
Is it impacting discretionary spending yet?
Not yet so much, you know. I think discretionary is more in the area of durables, cars, high price, not FMCGs, you know. So I don't think it will impact FMCG, but it may impact the higher value purchases, whether it is durables or cars or autos or two-wheelers. But otherwise, FMCG, I personally think that things should still look up as we go forward.
So what gives you the most confidence, and what would you highlight as the #1 risk in business today?
I think the most confident thing is things are looking up. The rural demand is increased. I don't think MSP can add to the demand because MSP is still on paper. Most of the crops, the prices are much lower than the MSP prices. The government has announced, but they don't have the capacity to buy all the crops.
Then how are you betting on rural demand? Because, you know, it shows up in the inflation numbers as well, where you're seeing food inflation collapsing, which means that there is a price collapse. If people are not buying on MSP or getting the MSP, then how are you anticipating this rural revival?
I think it's already shown in the last few months the rural demand is better, and that itself is just not agriculture, but other services also, and maybe the spends on infrastructure, rural housing. All that may be adding up to rural demand in terms of growth rates, but I still think that rural will continue in terms of growth rates, in terms of demands, and I'm quite cautiously optimistic, I would say, as we go forward.
Shereen